Good morning, afternoon, or evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is ArraySeven. I think most of us can agree that, as far as weapons go, Team Fortress 2's arsenal is pretty diverse. We have Gatling guns, rocket launchers, sniper rifles, this thing, that thing, robotic abortions, jars of piss, and a random pile of things to hit people with. But amongst this giant heap of entertaining and slightly maniacal toys, there are a few that stand out on a golden platter of holy amazingness. So, boys and girls, I would like to welcome you all to ArraySeven's top 10 greatest weapons in Team Fortress 2. Let it be known, though, I will be excluding the stock weapons, otherwise there would hardly be much contest. Remember, all this is a matter of opinion, so crucify with discretion. Number 10. Number 10 is an old favorite from way back when the game first started getting into updates, the SANDMAN. Yes, a right click to the balls never felt so good. Beating people over the head with this little Babe Ruth pool cue and render them stunned. It can either hurt and piss them off, make them throw their hands in the air like they just don't care, or just stand there dizzy like a late night teen in an MSG stupor. It all depends on how far away you are when you hit them. The reason this weapon is on this list is because of how useful it is. Stunning folks is an easy way to get up in their grill and ruin their weekend. Plus, you can easily pair up some nice stun and guillotine combos. The only real downside is reduced health, but frankly as a scout, if you're getting filled with bullets like a ghetto vending machine, you really aren't doing your job well enough. The SANDMAN just seems to have an infinite amounts of applications, and that's why it's on this list. Number 9. True to his name, the Pyro is all about fire. Flamethrowers, flame axes, flame lollipops, and as irritating as they are, flame flares. Yes, the shotgun's retarded cousin, the flare gun, is here, and much like the Incredible Hulk with explosive diarrhea, he's doing damage. The good old puff and sting tactic has been around for a long time, and even throughout Valve's constant buffs and nerfs, this thing has been left untouched for as long as I can remember. Personally, the reserve shooter appeals to me much more than the flare gun, mainly because it keeps me prepared for enemy pyros. But the critical hits on burning players is a pretty satisfying money shot. But regardless, the flare gun irritates me mainly because it's crazy effective and I'm not very good at it. So flare gun, enjoy your 15 minutes of shame, or fame, whatever you count this as. Number 8. I'm just gonna say this now, I love the loose cannon. Well, it does nowhere near the most amount of damage and is by far the most fun. For anyone who knows how to use the force of nature and the flamethrower's air blast, it's useful being able to push people around like living hockey pucks. The loose cannon has this spot on the list because of how much fun it is to smack people in the face with this thing and watch them soar in the opposite direction. Coupled with that double donk feature that sounds like some sort of kinky sex move, it's an amazingly satisfying piece of hardware to say the least. Smack them in the gut with this oversized golf ball launcher and you can eject them from the atmosphere, especially with Uber charges. Hitting the medic in the face with the demo man's black balls can ruin his picnic and put a rather bad taste in his mouth. So maybe not the most powerful, maybe not the most versatile, but god damn it, this thing is entertaining as hell. Number 7. You would think that the soldier is the worst marksman ever. His rocket launcher has the most useless crosshairs in the history of useless crosshairs, his shotgun is about as accurate as a feather-filled catapult, and his shovel is, well, a shovel. So you wouldn't think aiming would be too much of an asset to him. Well, thank God I'm wrong, because along came the direct hit. Aside from pissing me off that you can't use the scope, the direct hit is a sniper rifle of rocket launchers. Faster projectile speed, higher damage, and a smaller blast radius means that to do any real hurt and pain and anguish and sorrow and misery, you have to hit them directly. Exactly as the name suggests, as a matter of fact. Now, if you get good at this thing, you might as well put a halo over your set and call yourself Rocket Jesus, cause at close range it's an instant kill with most classes, it mini-crits soldiers, and the launcher itself looks like a heavy-duty piece of machinery. The only problem is, as I said before, not missing. Because with that reduced splash damage, if you don't hit them directly, your explosions might as well be confetti. But regardless, the direct hit is incredible for those who can use it, and therefore definitely deserves to be on this list. Number 6. Pretty much all of the NG's firepower is in his Sentry. A shotgun and pistol combo compared to 2 Gatling guns and missile barrage, my money's gonna be on the Sentry to win in a fight. But Valve indeed outdid themselves with the scrap cannon itself, the Widowmaker. Straight out of promo item hell, the Widowmaker fires metal at people, but the damage dealt is returned to you as metal. This goes hand in hand with the direct hit and aiming. If you can hit people with it, you pretty much have a rapid-fire shotgun with a bottomless clip. And manage to meat shot someone once or twice, virtually all your metal is back in your reserve along with the dead victim, leaving you at liberty to return to your little toys. While not the most effective with spy checks, it is definitely worth it if you're going ham as an NG in some desperate attempt to buy your team some time. So for as long as you're landing shots, you can fill up your metal reserve pretty quickly. And on a side note, I have to admit the Windowmaker has the greatest firing sound I've ever heard in my life. It just sounds powerful, like a drum set getting hit by a train or something. The Windowmaker, by far, is my favorite shotgun in all of TF2. Please don't ever change it, Valve. Thank you. Number 5. While this goes against everything that I've ever said ever, the medic, in all honesty, has no reason to be in a fight. All he has to do is just hang back and keep the rest of his team on that soul-stealing leash of his while they eat all the bullets. But every now and then a medic gets cornered, and that's where Kitty gets claws and unsheaths the UBERSAW. Normally, I'm not a fan of the UBERSAW, but I can't ignore how useful it is, especially in MVM and competitive. This thing can give you full Uber charge in 4 seconds, and especially in this game, that's incredibly important. Uber charges can change the tide of games in a matter of seconds, and making that kind of game-changing power easier to come by can definitely turn tides, like I said before. Of course, the only problem is hitting someone and living. You're a medic in pretty much nose-picking distance of a class that 8 out of 9 times is a better firepower than you. It's a risky move, but the payoff is totally worth it. UBERSAW, you deserve all the attention you get. Number 4. It's no shock that the Spy is considered a master of disguise. Coupled with one of the only guaranteed kill weapons in the game, he's a dangerous man to go unnoticed. But to me, infiltration is an art, and the only true master of that is the Body Snatcher, aka your eternal reward. While it may be more of a knife for public servers, you have to admit, you gotta be sneaky with it. Like drawing mustaches on babies when the mother isn't looking kind of sneaky. But it's pretty gratifying to get that initial backstab and immediately blend in with the crowd. Better yet, when you come up behind a heavy medic duo and take out the medic. Heavy turns around and his medic is still there. All is good with the world, until he takes it in the butt. Or playing on the payload map and wiping out everybody on the cart before people know what happened. It's a beautiful moment. And plus, every time you get backstabbed by it, you feel like you've just been cut off. There's no yell, there's no noise, just a small poking sound and you've gone from painting the landscape with bullet holes to an invisible corpse on the floor. It just feels like someone stole your exit from you. Anyway, the YER is a beautiful knife and one of the greatest espionage wonders. Number 3. Even though he's fatter than Jabba the Hutt after eating Pizza the Hutt, the Heavy can only take so much damage. And without a pocket medic on his ass, it can get kinda difficult to stay alive. But along comes God disguised as the delicious lunch snack savior, the Snativich. This is a health pack in your pocket. You can either drop it for your friends or be a selfish bastard and eat it yourself. It's mighty tasty in any situation, and for as long as you've got a couple seconds to spare, you may live to see another capture point. The only problem is, the Heavy for some strange reason can't keep his oral ecstasy to himself and has to announce to the world he's having a picnic. And at that point, you've got a pretty good chance of stirring a hornet's nest. So as with masochism, use with discretion. Number 2. If there's anything I've learned from children, it's that silence is golden. It's peaceful, it's relaxing, and nobody can hear you coming when you make their head explode. Yes, I speak of the HITMAN'S HEATMAKER itself. In exchange for 20% less damage on body shots, you get a focus meter that makes you maximize the sniper's concentration level, making you a much more efficient killing machine. The reason it's on this list is because it pretty much eliminates a lot of what is annoying about being a sniper. Unscoping to a chamber, the slow shot charge speed, and the fact that heads don't explode when you shoot them, because realistically, that's what happens when you get shot in the face with something like this. On top of that, I feel like it encourages your aim to improve, considering body shots aren't nearly as effective, and pegging them in the kisser makes for a much more satisfying and colorful experience. So HEATMAKER, by far my favorite sniper rifle aside from the upper hand. Number 1. The number 1 slot was difficult to decide on. There are quite a few weapons to choose from, and I most certainly fried my hardest not to pander to a certain class. That's right. Number 1, ladies and gentlemen, goes to the frying pan. But not just any frying pan, the golden frying pan. Even though there are only a handful of these out there, the golden pan to me is the greatest weapon in Team Fortress 2. Now, I've been playing TF2 for a while now, and if I were to describe the game to anyone, the golden frying pan is how I would do it. I mean, how many games allow you to cave in someone's skull with a gilded skillet? There's not a lot out there, trust me, I've looked. And that's why the golden pan is number one. To me, it's the perfect embodiment of what Team Fortress 2 is. It's funny, it's obnoxious, it's bright and colorful, and it perfectly represents to me what this game is all about. It also represents the fact that the people who spend the most money in this game have the most respect and attention, and therefore fits that description too. Well, boys and girls, this has been the top 10 greatest Team Fortress 2 weapons. If you have any other top 10 lists you'd like to see, by all means say so in the comments below. So, my name is ArraySeven, and I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day.
Play button, glutton of words, mutton, birds of fly to fly to you, dropping turds, hopping up on ignorance to feel how your body pop up the real, dance the visual crowd of deity. Pious piety might it be, to see is truly to be me. I see everything there is, so I must be more than thee. My creed in the game is to be stupid rappers is bane. Humidity forms when I arrive, harder lines than cocaine, got a line of frown and acid to become plastic.